Madam C.J. Walker was born Sarah Breedlove on December 23, 1867, in Delta, Louisiana. Her parents, Owen and Minerva, were recently freed slaves, and Sarah was the fifth of 6 children and was the first in her family to be born free. By the time Sarah was 7, both her parents died, and she moved with her older sister to Vicksburg, Mississippi. Economic hardships prevented Sarah from attaining an education, as she had no other choice but to work. At the age of 14, she married Moses McWilliams, and they had a daughter she named Lilia. In 1887, her husband died, leaving her to care for their daughter on her own at the age of 20. She then moved to St. Louis to join her brothers who were established barbers. Working as a washerwoman, she saved enough money to pay for her daughter's formal education, and she herself attended night school whenever possible. In 1905, she moved to Denver and began working as a sales agent for Annie Malone, who was an established African-American woman entrepreneur. Here, she gained knowledge of the hair care product business. She also married Charles J. Walker, who worked in newspaper advertising, and she undertook the name Madam C.J. Walker. In 1906, she developed a line of hair care products specifically for Black women, and she, along with her husband, began selling her products door to door across the southern and eastern United States. She also taught her clients about hair and scalp treatments. In 1908, she and her family moved to Pittsburgh and opened Lilia College to train hair culturalists. But by early 1910, they had relocated to Indianapolis. Here, she built a factory, hair and manicure salon, and another training school where she trained thousands of African-American women. She also made national headlines in the Black press when she contributed $1,000 to the building fund of the colored YMCA. In furthering her business, Madam Walker traveled to Central America and the Caribbean islands to expand her market. In 1916, she moved to New York and began overseeing the business from there. While in New York, she became active in Harlem's social and political realm. Taking interest in the anti-lynching movement conducted by the NAACP, she donated $5,000 to the organization and its causes. The following year, Madam C.J. Walker and other leaders of the Harlem community visited the White House to present a petition advocating federal anti-lynching legislation. That same year, she was a member of the 1917 Negro Silent Protest Parade Committee. Madam C.J. Walker was a major advocate for advancing the status of African Americans. She assisted young musicians and artists and also provided scholarships for students at several schools, including Booker T. Washington's Tuskegee Institute and Mary McLeod Bethune's Daytona Normal and Industrial Institute for Girls. She also provided the largest contribution for saving the home of Frederick Douglass in Washington, D.C. And during World War I, she and her daughter led a fundraising campaign to purchase an ambulance for Black soldiers. By this time, Madam C.J. Walker was the wealthiest African-American woman in the nation. In 1918, she hired one of New York State's first licensed Black architects, Verner Woodson Tandy, to design her country estate she called Villa Lewaro, which overlooks the Hudson River in Westchester County, New York. On its opening in August 1918, she hosted a conference of civil rights leaders, and her guests were entertained by the top Black musicians of the day. Madam C.J. Walker was an entrepreneur, philanthropist, educator, and activist, and her legacy continues to be honored today.